So, USS Callister into infinity, what did I think of that? A brilliant season overall, first of all. I found every single episode this season really interesting, and just as a whole adds to the incredible, at this point, body of work that Black Mirror is as a show in its entirety. Episode to episode, there's very few I would put in. You know, if I was to create a Black Mirror tier list, there would be very few I would put in the bottom tier. Maybe 2 or 3 episodes. And that's not me being generous, I'm truly invested in about 90% of these Black Mirror episodes and think they're some of the most incredible concepts and stories of all time. This could have went in many directions, it being a sequel episode, and I appreciate first of all that they instantly weren't retreading old ground. They took it in different directions, showing that this crew were having to survive at first and rob players of their credits just to get by in the simulation they were forced to escape into from their captive simulation, keep in mind. So it's not like they chose to go and be bandits, they're just trying to make the most of it, being in a system where they essentially don't even have ID or passports to get jobs, so they have to just rob people to get their credits. And the new primary villain of the piece was the business CEO, who played more of a background role in the initial USS Callister episode, but he was brought to the forefront, showed just how much of a true psychopath he was. The fact that he made the guy clone himself into the game, and he'd been working in there to the equivalent of what would have been 500 years outside of the simulation by the time she met him at the end, is just absolutely horrible torture, and almost probably inspired him to do similar things with the DNA cloner after his boss had used it to do that to him. As I was saying through the episode as well, I love the subtle world building in these episodes, how they show the woman with the full pink outfit and gun and ship, showing she obviously paid a bit of real world money to get the exclusive looks that she had. It all adds to the insidious monetary systems applicated to these technologies, which is another reoccurring theme throughout Black Mirror we don't really talk about. Not only is it a show about technology, but it's also about how that technology is always exploited, how they're always bleeding the most amount of money possible out of the technology and exploiting human beings who need the technology. It was also such a shocking moment when the real world version of that woman was hit by the car. Absolutely came out of nowhere, and at that point I thought, oh no, she's just died. The CEO now has the little head thing so he can go back into the simulation to cause chaos and kill them all, etc. It was really well written to create the most bleak looking outcome possible in that moment. And when we met the version of the creator who'd been inside the heart of the simulation for the 500 years, it was such a shame because I was just starting to like the guy, sympathising with him that the CEO had done that to him, and seeing his personable, likeable side when he's talking about Space Fleet and putting her through the moral test, only for him to turn into the ultimate creep again by the end of it, threatening to enslave the digital version of herself there. And then just when the CEO told all the players they'd robbed where their ship location was, she managed to kill the god guy, which is surprising in and of itself because he could literally levitate it and shit and do whatever he wanted. He could probably stop bullets, but he never saw that flying replica knife coming. I'll never shit on a replica knife website again. You know those websites that sell the shitty Lord of the Rings daggers and shit? You look at them and think they would fall apart, they would break to pieces. No, they would go straight through the head of a god. That of course caused the entire simulation to begin to collapse, and she was able to find the correct floppy disk which saved them all, with the twist of now the 4 remaining crew members in the ship being trapped in her consciousness. She's like a Power Rangers Zord, you know, with a little visor with the 4 Power Rangers like controlling the robot. And luckily we know in this Black Mirror universe there are certain technologies which can potentially extract those guys from her head. They could maybe occupy robot bodies or merge with their own consciousnesses again or something like that. Either way, I think it'll be okay. So yeah, the season ended with a very satisfying conclusion, a very happy ending, and this was a really enjoyable hour and a half and a great continuation of the USS Callister story. Didn't feel stale at all, didn't feel like they were trying to redo the same thing again at all, and I appreciate that Charlie Brooker would only ever write a sequel if he thought he had a really good idea which would continue the original story. story. Not just, oh, that was popular, let me do that again. I do not think he is the low-hanging fruit type of writer, and you can tell that by this episode, because it was a truly good idea he had before he started to write the sequel. He didn't just sit down thinking, I better write a sequel to this. A sequel clearly came to him. So yeah, it will just be movie reviews on the channel for the next couple of months while I move and set up a bunch of rooms, have to do a bunch of DIY and a whole other lot of stressful shit. But I hope you have enjoyed these Black Mirror reactions and stick around for the movie reviews, and we will see what I will be reacting to in future. And if you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this video around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.